Loneliness is an epidemic, like a silent plague radiating its lonesome chill throughout society. Older generations speak of a time when humans connected with each other in person, a time when they made eye-to-eye contact in a continual experience without distraction. But today's generation speaks of a different time, a time where eyes are glued to the screen, where status updates are like a heartbeat, reminding you that the person on the receiving end is alive and well. Old footage like this reminds me of how things used to be. Look at how laid back, carefree, and fun-loving these people were. Look at the smile on their faces, their gestures, body language, movement. It's something so familiar, yet so foreign. But those days are dead and gone, buried deep beneath the memories of those whom once lived it, reminding us of what once was and may never again be. And what do we have now? And how can we be so connected, yet so isolated at the same time? It's a paradox of solitude, perhaps. But all of this made me think, are we in the loneliest point in time? And if so, then what's the loneliest place in time? Maybe it was the Spandau prison, where Rudolf Hess was the sole prisoner for over 20 years. Or maybe it was within some remote island like in Castaway. Or perhaps it's in the here and now, within a society that's so close, yet so far away. But I'd like to say it's in a place called Point Nemo. This is the most isolated spot on planet Earth because it's smack dab in the middle of the ocean. It's nearly 2,000 miles away from land in all directions, is 2.5 miles deep, and contains no wildlife because massive currents encircle the area, sweeping away any nutrients needed for sea creatures to survive. This means no humans, no birds, and no sea creatures. There's only ocean waves roaring upon the sea, with ominous sounds emanating from deep within the abyss, like the ominous bloop from the 1990s. This place certainly charts the course for being lonely. And if you were there, you'd be closer to people in space than to people on Earth. Now that's a very desolate thought. Or maybe you'd find it very relaxing because you'd be as far away as possible from all of your problems. And as they say, one man's trash is another man's gold, and one man's loneliness is another man's refuge. But can this place truly be lonely if there's no one there? It reminds me of the age-old question of a falling tree. Does it make a sound if there's no one around to hear it? I'll leave that up to you to decide. But it does raise the question, what makes lonely lonely? Maybe the loneliest place in time isn't on Earth, but within our own minds. And that's one place we can never escape from until death. And once gone, there'll be nothing left of us but dust and bones, our remains pushing up daisies in a graveyard overgrown with tumbleweeds. In a twisted sense, this may be something you'll one day have in common with Point Nemo, because it, too, is a graveyard, but not of humans, but of outer space. Because whenever spacecrafts and satellites are decommissioned, they are crashed into Point Nemo, aka Spacecraft Cemetery. In fact, hundreds of spacecrafts and satellites are collecting dust beneath its waters. This leads me into a very disturbing thought. We're entering the age of Elon Musk's Neuralink, which can read our minds. Mark Zuckerberg's Quest, giving us augmented reality. OpenAI's ChatGPT, evolving an artificial brain, and Tesla's Optimus, paving the way for an exoskeleton for it to sit in. If we add it all up like a math problem, Where do we fit in the equation? Are we going to become one with machines like a mechanical Buddha? Or will we go extinct, humanity replaced by moving bits of cold steel powered by lithium batteries and lines of forgotten code? In the generations to come, will we view the debris in Spacecraft Cemetery as our ancestral remains, becoming another archaeological site? Or will Point Nemo be forgotten like the humanity we once had, never to be found again? We may never know, but Spacecraft Cemetery will be there waiting, because the ocean is a natural preservative, like the yummy canned food upon your pantry shelf. Take the Uluburan shipwreck, for example. Look at how amazingly well the ocean preserved it. You'd never have guessed that this ship is actually over 3,000 years old. Absolutely remarkable. But on that note, I must end it here. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Untold Truths.